Do you get the message that we're going to step it up this year? I think we're being pretty clear about that. So, when the new year comes around, do you ever notice that when the new year comes around, y'all are trying to figure out, what am I going to do this year different? How am I going to make this year a better year? What am I going to do? How many of you have made New Year's resolutions? Yeah, it's a New Thought church. We don't make resolutions. We absolutely have trust and faith that everything's going to unfold perfectly. Well, it is. It's all going to unfold perfectly. Exactly the way you unfold it. That's the way it works. So the thing about resolutions is, I've made resolutions my whole life. I have. Resolutions are like, that 30 pounds you were going to lose last year? As if I was going to do that, hardly. But people say, I'm going to lose weight this year. This is the year. Why? This year is just the next day from yesterday. That's all today is. It's just another day for you to decide what to do with your life. And what people do is they get to New Year's Day and all of a sudden it's like, it's all going to be different this year. Everything's going to change. It's going to be different. I'm going to lose that 30 pounds. I'm going to make more money. I'm going to get that job I love. I'm going to find the love of my life. It's all going to happen this year. Why? If it didn't happen last year, why is it going to happen this year? If you didn't lose the weight last year, why are you going to lose it this year? What's going to be different? Have I depressed you yet? What's going to be different? I mean, that's the thing about this whole idea of New Year's and New Year's resolutions. So I would like to dispel that whole resolution thing, although it doesn't seem like I have that much work to do, because none of you are making them. We in religious science, in New Thought, we talk about intention. I don't need to make a resolution. I just need to have an intention. And intentions are good. Intentions are very powerful. But an intention is just like a resolution. They're the exact same thing, really. Dr. Walker, since you brought him up, I loved how Dr. Walker used to say an intention. And when he would teach us in class, he'd say, intentions are like, I intend to go to the movies. Now, you've heard me say this. Oh, wow, okay, so good. I'll really stretch this. So Dr. Walker would say, intentions are like going to the movies. But if you decide to go to the movie, if you have an intention to go to the movie, you're not really going to go to a movie. In order to have an intention and live that intention, you must decide on what movie to see, Rogue One, and then you must buy the ticket, call ArcLight, get online, buy your ticket, and then you have to get in the car or walk if you're close and go to the movie theater. But that still isn't the intention fulfilled. You now have to buy your popcorn. This is how Dr. Walker used to say it. And my Coke. Not me, I don't buy either. But you get what you got to get. And then you have to actually go into the movie theater. Then you got to find the seat that you reserved if you're with ArcLight. And you sit down. Now what do you have to do? Watch the movie to the end. Now your intention has been demonstrated. That's an intention. But what has to really happen for an intention to manifest? Well, one little word, and it's called decision. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about today. To ask you, will you make a decision about 2017? So it's stepping it up in 2017, but it's also coming clean in 2017. Getting rid of all the crap. You ready to get rid of the crap? You ready to get rid of the stuff in your life that does not work for you anymore? How many of you still have stuff that doesn't work for you? No hands. I think you're hiding. No, here's what I just saw. I was like, and how many of you were going to get rid of that crap last year? Right? So there's our job. Our job is to decide, what is it that I want to do in 2017 that I'm going to decide to do? Not just have a resolution about it, because resolutions are like, I'm going to lose that 30 pounds, but somewhere in February, it's like, no, but I can still have the cake. And maybe I'll go back to ice cream a little bit. And so by the time Valentine's Day comes along, the resolutions are way gone. But they were nice, they were fun, they were hopes and dreams. But I don't think we need to be about hopes and dreams. We need to be about concrete decisions that manifest. So this is the day. Today is the day, tonight is the night, that you get to decide what is going to happen in 2017. So what do I mean by step it up? In most religious science churches, In the first 4 weeks of the year, they do those first 4 chapters of the textbook, which, because they all do that, I don't. I just don't feel like, we should all be following the same thing, and we should leave room for whatever wants to happen. So I never plan. Can you tell that? I never plan what wants to happen or what wants to be said. I like Dr. Walker used to say, don't ever let a talk title get in the way of what you have to say. So the thing itself, but this year I'm actually going to do it. So the thing itself is the first chapter. And what Ernest Holmes talks about is this thing called God. Now, God is one of the most divisive words in any language. It literally splits nations, splits people, this whole idea of the word God. So Ernest Holmes decided to call it the thing itself. Let's get away from the word God and see if we can pose this in such a way that it's palpable for people who have been burned by the idea of God. Burned from God? Absolutely not. Burned from the religion that brought God to a place that was no longer tenable. So he wrote the thing itself. So when I talk about stepping it up, I'm talking about stepping God up in you. Because that's who you are. You are God. I am God. We are God. Everyone on the planet is God. Everything is God. It's all God. Every religion teaches it's all God. And if every religion is teaching it's all God, someday, for God's sake, everyone is going to come to the conclusion that if it's all God, hey, I'm part of the all, I must be God. It's just logical. Yes? So, good. So, the thing itself, that's what we're talking about. That's what God is. So if I'm going to step it up, I'm going to step God up. I'm going to step, as Reverend Jay said, I'm going to step up my ability to remember who I am, which is going to change everything. We must step up our concept of it. We must step our concept of God up. But you know what else that means? You must step up your concept of you. It is no longer okay for you to denigrate yourself. It is no longer okay for you to think you're limited. It is no longer okay for you to have financial problems. It is no longer okay to live in a world that is so full of opulence to walk around as someone who doesn't have that. That's what we have to be willing to decide. And here's the deal. If it's just a decision, then I think tonight's a really good night. As this year starts, as this 2017 starts, tonight's the night to make a decision. To have a bigger concept of God, therefore a bigger concept of me, a bigger concept of you. You in for that? Yeah. That means every single day you have to really pay attention to what's going on in your mind, because that stuff from the past comes in so quickly. It's just so subversive. It comes in so quietly, and the next thing you know, you're thinking something you don't want to be thinking. Anybody ever have that happen? Right. So you have to step up your concept of God, you have to step up your concept of you, and you have to not be afraid of change. How many people are afraid of change? Well, stop it. Because the only thing you can be certain of in life is what? Change. That's it. Life is constantly evolving. So, Yogananda said this: growth is the ability to let reality be new in every moment. Growth, your growth, that's you having the ability to let everything around you be new in every moment. How often do you think you walk into your life knowing what your life is? How often do you think you walk into a relationship, I got this person, I know who this is? Or even look in the mirror and go, yeah, I know who you are. I know what's going on in that head. Time to let go of that. I know nothing. Now what can I know? I know Laurie Savage very well, but I'd like to know Laurie Savage at a deeper way, in a more fulfilling way, in a more expansive way. That means I have to stop thinking I know Laurie Savage, because there's something in her that is so remarkably expansive. That's what I want to know. But as soon as I know what I know, I've already blocked myself off. So this year is a year to let yourself come clean. Wash it all away. Wash everything you think you know, everything you think you are. Wash everything that you think happened to you. Wash it all away. Forgive everything and everyone. Doesn't mean you have to have dinner with them. I want to be very clear. I treat for a lot of people's highest and furthest. It's very important to know who you are and to know who they are. But they are God. You just may not want to vibrate at that level. It may be a level you don't want to vibrate at. That all has to be okay, but you got to let it all go and start over again every single time. So Ernest Holmes said this: we are continuously living a new life. And when the old and the new do not fit nicely together, the old, being no longer able to contain the new, should be discarded. Now, I'm somebody who wants the new. Can't you tell that? I'm like, I want the new. I want new songs. I want new singers. I want everything new. Everything new. But what I've realized is there's a lot of the old that I need. There is a lot of what is old in this teaching. The old wisdom, the ancient wisdom, the philosophy of the sages of the universe that is so powerful, so important. We just need to know what of this is usable. What do I still want to use? And now what's new? Because he continues to say, continually, we must expect new revelations of old truths. We should never lose sight of the fact that the soul is on the pathway of an endless and ever-expanding experience, and that only by expansion can it evolve. Now here's the thing. What is within you, who you are, is expanding. It is evolving and growing. It is morphing into so many amazing things. That's why I love when Jason and Heather do their chants, because it takes me away from the words and everything and just finds that depth in me. So there is that in you that is expanding and growing and evolving, and you don't have to do a thing for that to happen. It's just who you are. It's what you are. But you know what you do have to do? Get your, as Emerson said, bloated nothingness out of the way of it. Get that mind that thinks it knows what it knows out of the way so that you can let it expand. Let it expand you. He goes on to say, there is no limit to the possibility inherent in all men and women. Let the timid soul put its complete trust in good and press bravely on. So, are you willing to make a decision and to literally wipe clean all that stuff that needs to be wiped clean? So, I had a conversation this week with my Aunt Jerry. My Aunt Jerry is in her 80s now, and she has a lot of health problems. So every time I call her, she tells me one of them, whatever one is prevalent in that particular day. And so every time I call Jerry, I wait, and I just say, hey, how you doing? Oh. My Aunt Jerry is the Jewish side of the family, and her mother was Catholic, her father was Jewish, so I guess she's not technically Jewish, because the mother has to be Jewish, yes? Yes. Thank you from the back. We are in a temple. I should know this. So I call her and I say, just a couple days ago, I was like, so how you doing? And she goes, oh, and she started telling me something was wrong, and she stopped. She goes, every time you call, I always seem to have something wrong with me, don't I? I went, uh-huh. I said, you do? She goes, I know, I'm always complaining. I said, yeah, you are. She says, God, I must be so depressing to you. I said, no, I kind of just let it fly through. And then she said something that really hit me. And I knew, and I said to her, after she said this to me, I said, you know I'm going to have to talk about this in church, and you may be watching, because I did say it's 8 o'clock in Philly, turn me on and watch. So if you're watching, you can tell me if I got this right. I'm sure you will. She said to me, she said, you know, Jimmy, I really can't wait to die because I know that it's got to be better than this afterwards. And I just stopped for a minute. She says, you know, I just know that when I die and go to heaven, it's just going to be so much better than this. Now, normally, I just let these things go by. And I just go, yeah, I didn't. And I said, Jer, I said, why are you going to wait till after you die to find heaven? And she goes, well, that's what it is. That's what heaven is. You know, we have this life, we live through all this misery and pain, and then we die and we go to heaven. And I said, well, let me pose this to you. What are you going to do if you die and that's not how it works and there's no heaven? And she goes, what are you trying to depress me? She was like, I'm supposed to depress you. You don't depress me. And I said, no, but I want you to answer me. What will you do if you die and there is no heaven? Jesus isn't up there saying, oh my God, thank you for the miserable life you led. I appreciate it. Come, join me at my table. I was like, what are you going to do if that's not the way it works? And she was like, She says, well, it is, Jimmy. That's just the way it works, and that's how it works. I said, Jerry, you can have heaven now. She goes, really? In this wheelchair, in this body, in all the things that are happening to me? I said, yes, you're in the wheelchair. Your body's doing what it's doing because of what you think. And she was like, well, I know that you believe that. Anyway, I'm not going to do the whole discussion for you. But fast forward, I called her, and I said, how you doing? Today, this morning, New Year's. And she goes, I'm doing good, very good. I said, really? She goes, yeah, I'm really good. Everything's good. I said, wow, what happened? She goes, well, I thought about it, and just on the happenstance that you may be right, that there's no heaven, she said, I think you're right. I need to start having a good time now. She said, so I'm in a wheelchair. I can get that. What'd she call it? A jazzy chair. She said, I can get my jazzy chair into the car and go to the mall. I can go to Walmart. Some people's idea of heaven are different than mine. She said, I can have it fabulous. I can just have a better life, can I? I said, oh my God, yes. I actually had tears in my eyes. I was like, that is so awesome that you actually get that you really get that. And I thought, my work is done here. I don't even have to go speak at any service today. I've done my work in the world. Aunt Jerry is going to be happier because she's even contemplating the idea that we can be happy now. So here's the deal. Heaven, earth, the afterlife, the here and now. New Year's, old years. We do the same thing. It's New Year's. Oh my God, I'm in heaven. It's a new year. Everything can happen. No. Back up. Back up. As Gladys Knight said to the Pips, back up. You must be, thank you just got that. Actually, it's what did Gladys Knight say to the Pips? Thank you. So this idea of New Year is another way of saying, I'm going to wait till I die to go to heaven. What are you waiting for? What are we waiting for? Why did we have to wait all the way through? And Jay's right. Facebook, all about, 2016, worst year ever. God, I can't wait to get out of here. Everybody's dying at the end of the year. You know what? People die when it's time. And the fact that Carrie Fisher from Star Wars passed and Debbie Reynolds passed the very next day, people were all over the place about that. And I was like, how beautiful. How beautiful. You know, this is not a drama. People die. Guess what? You're going to die. Is there anyone here who's not going to die? Gareth, that's because you're 20. You don't think it's going to happen. So it's going to happen. It's the natural progression. It's what we do. So this idea of New Year's, you get to decide today. It's nice to have a day like this where we actually say, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. But it really is time for us. Steve Jobs said this, you have to work hard to get your thinking clean and make it simple. Think about that. You have to work hard to get your thinking clean and make it simple. So as we contemplate this coming clean in 17, and as we contemplate this stepping it up, it really does take a decision in you and a decision in me to decide what is it we want. So I want to leave you with that question because I love living the questions. I'm tired of having the answers. I want to know the questions and let them live me. What do you want this year to look like? You get to ask that question. What do you want this year to look like? What do I want my year to look like? And then decide what that will be. A mind that decides what it wants, a mind that decides what life is going to be for it, that's a mind that demonstrates. A mind that's waiting around to see what happens, to see does everything work the way I want it to? Is everything in alignment? You know what? The answer to that question is yes. Everything is in alignment right here, right now, for each and every one of us to manifest whatever we decide to manifest. You want more health? Decide it. You want more love in your life? Decide it. You want more relationship in your life? Decide it. You want more creative expression in your life? Decide it. I did something this week I haven't done in a very long time. I was in the office. I got all emotional when I said that. I was in the office, and nobody was with me. I'd locked the door, and I just was in the offices of the Global Truth Center, and I sat down at the piano, and I wrote an entire song. And I haven't had time to write songs in a very long time. And I wrote the whole song. And I was screaming it. I was like Aretha Franklin at GTC. Walking around, and you're going to hear it's very soon. It's very soon. And I am screaming it and singing it. And then I went back the next day and rewrote it. And I was like, this is the creative expression I'm used to. And somewhere along the line, I decided I didn't have time for it. What don't you have time for that, frankly, you don't have time not to have time for? What is in you that is waiting for you to say, I'm going to decide this is who I am. I'm going to decide to remember who I am. Because here's the thing. If you're going to step it up, you got to ask yourself, who's doing the stepping? What is stepping it up? Because the thing itself that you are, that is evolving, that is consistently expanding and moving, that does it brilliantly without any help from you or me, that's what's stepping it up. And if you get your bloated nothingness out of the way, you get your individualized expression of, I am tired of being one with anything. I am tired of being a part of anything. I am tired of there being God and me. I am tired of there being any duality, because the truth is, I am the force. I am the presence. I am that which makes the decision and sees it through to fulfillment. That's who I am. That's who you are. That's what this year can be about. But you must make the decision to let it be about that. You must step up in consciousness. You must step it up. Step your God self up into a consciousness that knows that when you say yes, the universe says yes. That when you say, this is what I expect, the universe says, here it is. That's how it works. That's how this science works. That's how you work. That's how I work. That's who we are. Love only, forgive everything, and remember who you are. Because when you remember who you are, you have stepped it up, and you can now speak your truth. 2017, time to come clean, time to step it up, and time to manifest the lives that we are here to live. Namaste. Yes. Thank you.